Walker's at Boise State.
Jalen Walker's at Boise State. B.J. Perkinson's at Sacramento State. Chris Murray's at Montana State. Eric Willis is at Tarleton State. So they had a good group of kids, and we knew if we could get to those kids in time that we could have a successful season. And so we got in there about that spring, or actually we got there a little bit earlier in the spring, and tried to. The biggest deal what we tried to do was instill discipline in those kids. And I think the biggest deal for them where they just need to instill discipline and confidence. I don't think they knew that they could be a talented football team. They just knew they had talent, but they didn't know that they could be successful. So that was the goal, to make sure that these kids had some type of confidence and knew that they could be successful. So we tried to instill a lot of confidence in the kids. And that's kind of where the program started. It sprung from there. That was where the seed was planted. And these kids just came behind them and just took it to another level. They believe, they understand that tradition has to start somewhere. But then, it's always good to hear people like yourself, because we don't know the history of Lawndale. We don't know, the success that Lawndale had. We knew, Fred Dreyer, stuff like that, and the 66 team wins the championship, et cetera. But, guys like yourself, it makes it real tangible and real life for us because we represent for you guys, because we know there's a lot of you guys out there. And they don't get represented enough. And we want to be recognized in the South Bay as one of the elite football programs, period, regardless of how long we've been doing it. We just want people to respect us and give us the proper due respect that these kids deserve, because they worked their tails off to put Lawndale on the map. And I'm real proud of them. I'm proud of the program. I'm proud of our school, our administration, our support, our parents, families, everybody around Lawndale. I know people in the city and community is talking about it. I hear it. Whether it's positive or negative, all news is good news, so we appreciate it.
Also, again, kind of back to where you got your start, because you went to Utah State.
Yes, sir.
You came from somewhere. Kind of give us a glimpse into your story, how you got here, where you're from.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here in Southern California, born on the west side of Southern California. Grew up in Santa Monica. I went to Santa Monica High School, very rich tradition of football program. Was fortunate enough to go to college at Utah State University from Santa Monica High School. Had a really successful career at Utah State University. Didn't have a long time in the professional ranks. Got released and came home and decided that the best thing for me to do was try to give kids the same opportunity that I had to go get a free education and to play this game at another level and to become a man. So I started coaching back in the city, bounced around, did some things, and then I became the head coach of Santa Monica High School, my alma mater, in 2009. Did that for 6 years and just felt like, you know what, I have to challenge myself. The new athletic director, Dimitri Howard, fortunately, as an young assistant in 2002, I coached him at Santa Monica, where I won my second CIF title as an assistant coach. He'd been pulling on my ear, and said, you know what, you need to make that jump. Come over to Lawndale and help some of these inner city kids. And that's what I did a few years ago, and I'm really excited that I did that. And now I'm here. I'm here to stay, and I'm trying to bring a CIF title to the school as quickly as possible.
And as far as your Utah State career, what were those stats like? Were you a lockdown corner?
No, I wasn't a corner. I played safety, and as my kids tell you all the time, it's about being physical. So I was trying to knock helmets off. I'm sure there's people out there that know that my helmet broke their face mask. But without a doubt, teammates and all, all my teammates shout out, but y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know that it was my secondary. But no, I had a good college career. Was fortunate enough. I think I'm like fourth all time now in interception still career. I played free safety there. I was an all Big West player 3 years in a row. I was an honorable mention All-American at Utah State as well. I led the league in interceptions for 2 years, so I had a pretty good career. Other than that, though, outside just the football part of it, I grew up. I became a man in Utah because I was alone and I had some good people around me. So, that's why I want these kids to have the same experience, to be able to go to college and meet some of the friends that I'll be friends with for the rest of my life and learn some of the things that I'll take with me until I go to the grave.
That's what's up. And you got some of these cats with USC offers, top of the line. Like, I saw I think it was on Twitter, saw the picture, Clay Helton actually showing up at Lawndale. Like, man, that's huge. That would never happen. We had one dude named Kelvin Rutledge. He ran like a 4.3. He was an amazing running back. Ended up going to Cal Poly. He had like 1,700 yards rushing one year. We had a dude named Travion Thomas. He was good. But we never had something to this level. And what does that do for the school?
Oh,
like,
man.
what does that do for the student body? Like, because I remember Lawndale used to have, just in general, they used to have a lottery system. So, like, if you had a relative who was at Lawndale, you had a better chance to get in. My sister was at Lawndale. That's how I got in grades. So they kind of weeded a lot of stuff out.
Right.
But now that they got rid of that, how did you see the campus change, and how did you see the dynamic and the demographic of the campus?
Absolutely. Shout out to the Trojans. Shout out to all the college programs that came by our campus this year. We probably had over 50 different programs visit our school this spring. It's really exciting. We've got counselors, administrators, just front desk assistants. Everyone's excited. Security guards. Everybody gets excited when they see those college guys, recruiters coming by, stopping by the school, coming to see these boys. The boys get excited. It motivates them. It keeps them, focused in the classroom. It's just been a great turn. I think our principal, Paula Rodas, has done a great job trying to get the community involved and really, really change the programming and bring some excitement to the program. And like you said, academically, they're doing great. We got some great, wonderful teachers, people that care. There's a lot of construction going on at Lawndale, so the campus is growing. As you can see, the athletics is growing. We got some great, talented guys. We've got a basketball player that's going to get drafted into the NBA next week, Chimezi Metu. Yep. Shout out.
That kid is nice.
So we're just excited about the growth of our athletic program, and we're just trying to continue to be a part of that growth and to do something really special to be remembered by.
Also, when it comes to, and the players kind of already touched on this, you could tell they feel it a certain way. When it does come to scheduling, do you feel like, as the coach and just trying to get certain things lined up, do you feel like teams are ducking Lawndale, honestly, or do you feel like it's more of just convenience as far as scheduling?
If you want the true answer, absolutely. I'm ducking Mater Dei. I mean, let's keep it real. I'm ducking IMG. I'm not saying that Lawndale is that good, but to some people, the disparity between the two is very similar. And I understand why certain programs don't want to play us. Then you got guys like, maybe Mater Dei will say, you know what, I don't want to play Lawndale because if we lose to them, we have everything to lose and nothing to gain. So I understand their perspective. I understand where they're coming from. But like a boxer, in order for us to fight for the belt, we got to fight people, and we want the challenge of trying to get that belt. So anybody they put in the ring, we're going to take that squabble, and so I understand. Yes, we are being ducked, but I understand why. I would probably duck us if I was in certain scenarios as well. But there's some schools that are taking the challenge. We're gonna we have a tough preseason schedule. Our first game is Sierra Canyon. Everybody talks about Narbonne and stuff. Sierra Canyon is a very good program. They've got several Division I football players on their team as well. Calabasas, Coach Claiborne is doing an incredible job up there. We've got, game 2 is Calabasas. Then we've got Lusinger. Then we've got Narbonne down the pipe. So it's a challenging schedule for these kids. Not to mention our league, which is always challenging with El Segundo, Culver City, Santa Monica, Hawthorne, and Beverly Hills. But we understand people are ducking us, and we understand why. But it's not a disrespectful thing. It's not like we're upset about it. I get it, because I would probably do it if I was in their position as well. But play us, man. Give us a shot. We just want a shot at the belt. That's all.
We want to smoke.
That's what's up. And just 2 more questions. I know
yes, sir.
Up, but as far and obviously high school football, they came out with the rule now that essentially you can transfer and say what you're just transferring to leave. It's not an issue anymore. I don't know, in the past, like it was an issue at Lawndale, like for when they vacated wins, but it was more like in a lot of situations with teams, with schools, it's usually a paperwork issue. Like I've seen it with people who didn't play sports. So do you feel like with the transfer rules, do you think that's going to help you guys? Because more people are kind of going to want to come to Lawndale?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Let's talk about that. We love for kids to show up at Lawndale and to check in on Lawndale to play football. That's the goal. Of course, we want all the kids to come to Lawndale. Unfortunately, it's difficult in this present day and age to compete with some of these big programs that can go out and recruit. They say they don't, obviously, but we all know they do. Let's keep it 100. We don't have a chance to do it because, not only are we watched, not only do we not have the means, not only do we not have the manpower, we can't recruit and can't compete with these kids, these programs. So we're saying, hey, You can go to those programs. It's all shiny and great. But why not come to a free high school? Why not come to a place where you're going to get coached up? You're going to play some good football, and you're going to have an opportunity to go to college and get a free education. So come to Lawndale, because there's no hoopla. There's no media attention. It's just real. You're gonna get taught the real deal.
And no coaches dancing all up in the videos.
Yeah, exactly. you get it. But you get it. But at the same time, like you said, in terms of kids transferring in, it seems like it's easier. I mean, look, some people get 30 transfers, 25 well-known kids. We get one, and then you got CIF calling. Just like you said, they took games away.
Y'all were 9-1 that season.
9-1. I still don't know the reason why they took games away specifically. I still don't know. So we've gotten 5 different answers on the reason why. One was the guy followed the coach, but that kid went to 4 different high schools before he attended our school. There's a whole lot of things that you can pull out of that, which is fine. We can deal with all the politics as well. We'll accept that because the kids that played against us know that we kicked their butts, and so do the coaches. So we don't care about the record. We know what we did, and everybody else knows what we did, and we did it fair and square. And that's what we continue to do. We do things fair and square around here. And but we're excited about kids being able to transfer, like you said. But you still have to live in the community. If you transfer in and you don't live in the community, you've got to sit out 5 games. So that's kind of the rules right now. Okay.
And also, because obviously the NCAA, it's a realistic thing. You can't avoid it. When it comes to situations where you're saying, look, we got a great crop of kids, they're football players, they're gonna go. What are some of the things that you kind of let them know as far as like, okay, this is what an NCAA violation is, this is what isn't an NCAA violation? Because a lot of times kids don't know. I'm pretty sure if you made every kid in here read like, okay, what's an NCAA violation realistically? Like, and then quiz them on it, they're not going to know every single possible detail. And we've seen it in a lot of different cases where people get their eligibility taken, people have to transfer. The SEC, they just came out with their ruling that you can pretty much transfer within divisions now. And this is actually a question I'm going to come back to all y'all with. But how, as a coach, how do you kind of maneuver, telling them like, look, it's great, you're going to the next level, or you want to get to the next level, but you also have to understand the red tape. How do you kind of run that across them when, the game's over and all that?
Well, I actually think, personally that responsibility is on the NCAA or the college coach that's recruiting the kids, that, to make sure that these kids are doing the correct thing, because if that coach is contacting those kids, then they should know the rules. In terms of my kids, I just tell my kids to make sure that they're doing things properly, communicating with their families, communicating with me if they need to, making sure that their families are in communication with me, to making sure they're not doing anything illegal. My kids contact me all the time. Hey, coach, is this fine? Should I get in touch with this coach? This coach called me and asked me to call him. They text me, or is it okay for me to hit him back? So we just try to just fly under the radar. But at the same time, I think that responsibility of making sure these kids stay correct or politically correct is on the college itself.
Because I know, like, a lot of times people don't necessarily understand where the responsibility lies.
Right.
So some schools get blamed, some don't. I remember when St. John Bosco had a bunch, Nico Falah, all them cats were coming out. It was certain coaches in the Pac-12 who had a bad reputation at certain schools because of how they came across to the coach. Like, I'm never going to send you another kid again.
Right.
And that relationship between you as a coach and all these people coming in, how do you kind of really vet that? Because also sometimes you don't want to be in a situation where you're like, yo, this coach, hey, shout out to Jackie. So when it comes to situations where you're really, like, you can only do so much as a high school coach, obviously. But once the other coaches come in, do you kind of, like, let it be known, like, hey, understand this coach's history before you kind of commit? And how would you relate your experience coming up, getting offers in college compared to now?
Yeah, the thing about that is this recruiting process is so different nowadays than it was when I was going to school.